Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. Today's video is like an update video. I know it's a little late, so it's coming on a Sunday and not a Saturday, and I know you're hoping for a technical video, but I always put some tech in these ones anyway. Although I will warn you, part of this video is more entertaining because I get to talk about something that happened over the Thanksgiving break that we've had here. So anyway, we'll get started with some updates that's happened in the shop. First one's this. This is a Mopar head. This is the ProMax Project X head. They haven't sold any yet, so they're not even available to be sold. But I was asked to do the CNC program for one, and that's this. So what this is it's for a 440 Mopar, but it's gotten bigger. I don't know what the CC size is because I haven't CC'd it yet. But anyway, I ported it, and I'll show the results with it. It's okay. I only had one 219 valve in here in the whole shop that I could use for this, and it has a back cut, but I wouldn't consider this valve great. So I'm thinking about ordering another valve to see if I can't get the numbers up. As far as the port design itself, it is where it is. The port itself seems like it's pretty big, and there's not much more you really could do with it. So in case you're wondering, because I know some people are going to ask, did you do a max wedge size? Well, there's two gaskets, so this is your max wedge, which I've got it backwards. It's nowhere near that. But then you've got your regular gasket here, this one. I actually went 100 thousandths taller than the opening on this gasket. So still, if you trim this gasket, it'll work just fine. So it's kind of like a mixture. This way someone could use it on either one. It also gives you way more cross section at the pinch. This now is 3.33, which should make more power. As far as flow numbers, it's not bad. So 280 at 4 is really good. 333 at 6, that's okay. So really, if I'm being honest, up till about 5, it's pretty stellar. After that, it's just okay. I say that, but for a 440 Mopar stuff, this is pretty good. But it's not like the B1 or the ones I showed in the video on. They're nothing like that, not that great, but it's definitely good. So an easy bolt on, you could use your intake and stuff and be fantastic. But again, I'm only a 219 valve. I halfway thought about putting a 225 intake valve in there, but I didn't. Still a 176 exhaust valve, but I'll do a later video on that because I really want to get out a valve, see if I can improve some of those numbers. So because I have had a Victor head, which might have been the max wedge one that I had done that went like 353. This goes 343, and then it kind of backs up. There's just not enough, it's weird. There's not enough short side height on it, so it is what it is. So even though I did remove some so that the CNC machine would clean up, there's just not a lot of height left to work with. It's not bad though, I don't want to get that idea. Still should make really, really good power. At least it has cross-sectional area, so it carry the power itself. So this thing will be really, really fantastic. But anyway, that's one of the things that happened. And then, now that the shop's all disaster, I came back from Thanksgiving and I got boxes everywhere and crap. I shouldn't have said this, but I thought this box came in and had this note. And I thought, I'll just go show you the bottom. I thought actually what had happened was my son had sent me something. Because I was a teacher for 16 years. And if I ever saw like print like this, you could tell the age of the person. So I actually thought my son was like, why did you mail me stuff, son? You live in the same house. But because his handwriting is almost identical. Okay. Next thing, I want to give a big shout out to Total Seal. As many of you know, I'm building a 540 big block Chevy dyno mule that I'll be doing some dyno testing with. I had hit up on Lake Speed, who works for Total Seal, and said, man, I really need some rings for this. And he was nice enough to help me out with these, and he sent me some. So what this is it's a Napier second ring. And for those that don't know, and I didn't bring out the package to show you because on a camera it's really hard to see. But this is essentially what the second ring looks like. This is a little hook, and that's a Napier stuff. So when it drags down, it actually has 2 scraping blades that scrape the side of the cylinder to get oil away. That works fantastic. If you get for instance, these pistons that I'm using are Molly pistons, but Molly piston rings that come with it are just like a rounded shape. There are no hook. This is so much better for oil control. So that got there too. And then I got a topless ring. Now this is the old ones that came out of the engine before, but let me show you what the gapless rings look like. So for those who've never seen them and wonder how they do that. First, you've got this rail that it goes on the top ring. And if you notice at it, which the camera of course will not focus, of course not. iPhones are, there we go. See a little step? So what you do is you gap this like as if it was a gapless ring. So you have plenty of gap here. You can even open up more just to be safe. And here's something I'm gonna say about gapping rings. I think some of you make them so tight because you're like, man, it's going to make so much more power if I get the rings, the gap really, really tight. Let me tell you something. There's not that much power is lost between having say a 20 versus a 35 thousandths gap on the top ring. And so I know some people are going to tell you otherwise. I want you to fill your cylinder up with air and then let it, then see what happens and see how long it takes that air to go out. It's going to take several seconds before it leaves. That piston is coming up and down in a fraction of a second. There's not enough time for that amount of air to bleed by. Will some? Obviously. But what I'm trying to get at is you're far better to have a bigger gap and have safety than a tighter gap that might make 1 to 2 more horsepower and have a risk of damage. So another way to look at it is like tell people with clearances too. If it's loose, the only person that's ever going to know that the gap is really loose is you. When it's tight, everybody's going to know when the engine lets go. But anyway, this is the top part. What happens is you gap that, like I said. Then you also gap this one. This is the other part of the top ring. And this one actually has I don't know if they still do this because I looked at the new ones and aren't that way. But the ones back then, they had it angled this way. And you gap these two, and essentially you put them in like so. And that other ring closes up that gap, so you essentially have no gap in your top. Because although there's gaps on the bottom rail and this top rail, they're essentially sealing up. That top one's essentially sealing it up. That's how it works. This engine, for the most part, will be NA, but I think it might get a blower with maybe 5 PSI on it eventually anyway. So there's part of that. But I was still very happy to get those because those rings are not cheap, but they're worth every penny you spend on them. Definitely worth the investment. So good deal there. Speaking of which, as soon as I get done making this video, I am going to add one thing to my website. So my website, wengines.com. On the homepage, you can scroll down to my link to the online store. I'm going to add one more book for pre-order. I'm going to call this the final one of 2023. Here's what's going to be in it. The final dyno session that I did with the small block Chevy, where I put on this CNC ported heads, which I haven't done a single video on, but it'll probably start in 2 weeks, those videos. And also, just because I don't think it's quite enough material, I'm going to add in the final big block Chevy 496 stuff. And I said I wasn't, but I kind of want it out there so at least it's printed so people get a chance to view it. But I'm only going to do it in that book, and then once the books are sold out, it's over. So the way I'm going to have it is on the website, I'm going to have a pre-order. So if you want to get it, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to probably put it at $65. If you're a channel member, don't order it that way. Contact me, because remember, you get it for $20 more than whatever the cost is. And I don't know what the cost is yet. But anyway, it'll cost $65. And if you order it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you order that book, just that one book, I'm going to give you your channel membership for free. So that one book. Now it's pre-order because I still have to print it and whatnot. But it'll be $65 unless you're a channel member. I told you I'll let you know. So $65, you also get a channel membership. That'll be the only way you're going to see the big block Chevy 496 stuff, the second dyno session that has the rectangle port heads now milled to 110cc chambers, the 290s that are now ported. That stuff's only going to be in there. And the only reason, like I said, I'm doing it is because I said I wasn't going to, is because the book itself that just does a small block Chevy with the ported heads and stuff, it just doesn't have enough information. It seemed like it would be pretty small. This is also a reason why in 2024, when I do the books, I'm only going to release them in quarters. So in that, whatever dyno sessions happen within that first quarter, they'll all end up in one book. So you might have some from the LS, from the big block Chevy, and from the small block Chevy, all in one book per quarter. It saves me time. So look for that. I'm going to put it on the website. Make sure you get that. And now that really ends anything technical whatsoever. So let's get to what did you do here. So this is going to be somewhat interesting, and you'll probably get a kick out of this, and you kind of can figure out already what's going on. But let me get to it. Okay, over the Thanksgiving break, my wife has family that's down in San Antonio, and so we went there to celebrate Thanksgiving. And their family is fantastic. We had 68 people in there, and the house is just like 2,200 square feet. But everybody had a great time. Those are some good people. Good people. Amazing. They're just truly amazing people. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about is probably something that bothers all the rest of you. I know you're getting an idea. So let me just start off with this. This is a map of Oklahoma and Texas. So just bear with me just for a little bit as I kind of describe this. I'm located right here, which is Broken Arrow. And unfortunately, the state lines aren't mapped out so well. It's too bad. Because Oklahoma's not Texas, and that clearly, especially if you drive the roads. But here I am, and that's where I'm going. So if you notice, it says it's going to take 8 hours, 529 miles. This is a long trip, right? And I hate driving. I absolutely hate driving. I thoroughly hate driving with a passion. The reason why is because I'm happy, let's say, in this car or this car. But the rest of these people are what makes my driving experience horrible. Because we'll get to it, but you know where I'm going. So anyway, I was not looking forward to this. We left out on Wednesday. I'm really not looking forward to this thing. It's going to be a long drive. Everybody and their dog's driving because it's Thanksgiving. There's going to be so many people. This is ridiculous. But iPhone must have been like, hey, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I know what you need. Because on the way down, what it did was, you see this path here? This is how it wanted us to go, which this is the interstate. It was like, no, don't do that. I got you. So what it said was, hey, why don't you go from Tulsa to Oklahoma City, and then we'll kind of drive you to camera not working right, down through Fort Sill and all these little bitty roads until you get to here. These are all little highways that Texas has. And at first I was like, oh, this is going to suck. But I was like, whatever, heaven. Heaven. That was an amazing trip down there. You want to know why? So when we got here to Oklahoma City and we got down all the way through here, it was 4-lane. We get to Texas and it was 2-lane. I was like, oh, crap. Because in Oklahoma, when you have a 2-lane road, what it really means is some farmer is going to go 55 in a 65-mile-an-hour zone. If you're lucky. Typically, they're going 45. And since it's 2-lane in Oklahoma, it's truly 2-lane. So it's like this. Cars going this way, just for representation. Cars going this way and you're this way. And typically, there might be a semi on there, but it's pretty rare. And you're stuck here. So you risk your life to get around them, passing before this car says, ha pow, right? I know you know what I'm talking about. So I was like, oh crap, man. We're gonna get stuck behind some farmer and be horribly stuck. For the record, by the way, as soon as you enter Texas, the smell of cow dung is strong. Your farmers, the way you do your cow stuff in Texas is way different than Oklahoma. We have our cows spread out. We don't get them in a nice tight area so they could crap all together and smell up the whole place. But you have your feedlot stuff or whatever, man, bad. Not that we don't have feedlots in Oklahoma, but not on every farm. And the thing was, too, I didn't understand it. They had these nice, super nice houses on these ranch. And you could smell the manure for miles. Man. We have those in Oklahoma. It's a nice house. The cows are spread out. It just doesn't smell like that. But anyway, I digress. So we get on those roads, and I was like, crap, I'm going to be stuck behind some farmer. One, the 2-lane roads in Oklahoma are 65 mile an hour. And yeah, you're going to go through a bunch of towns, just slow down to 35, and then you're back up. In Texas, you guys got it. You guys do it right. Because in Texas, it's 75 miles an hour on a 2-lane. So this car is going 75. That one's going 75. I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, screw it. But here's why it was heaven. If you got stuck behind someone slow, because I was afraid we're going to be like Oklahoma farmers and Oklahoma people. If it says 65, it's a country road. They don't care. They'll go 55, 45, or they'll drift. They'll do the 45, 60. Almost we're going to do speed limit. No, back to 45. No. On the 2 lanes there, they were all going 60, 75. So they were all flying. So I was like, at least they're all doing a speed limit. But every 4 miles or so in Texas on their 2-lane roads, they have passing lanes. So it goes from 2-lane, this car going this way, that it broadens out to 3 lanes. And then you've got a lane for you to actually pass the other person. And then it goes back to the single lane. Oklahoma doesn't have that because we're stupid. So the entire trip down here, amazing. I hit no traffic. For long periods of time, there were only 1 or so cars on the street. Perfect. Made it to San Antonio, no problem. So I think we got there in 9 hours, and we had to stop. So it says we make it 8 hours and 5 minutes. It was about 9 hours because we stopped for gas, we get something to eat, that sort of stuff. Great time. My brother-in-law, he has a Tesla, And it took him 12 hours to get there because he had to stop at charging points. And the traffic was horrible from Austin and Dallas. Gotcha. So, enjoyed it. Now to this. This was the way home. So yesterday what happened was the GPS said, hey, this is the faster way to go. Probably because it didn't have as much traffic as it did the day before Thanksgiving. So what I've done is I've set up a typical how it looks in Texas road for all of you that have never been to Texas. Because I'm going to educate you guys on Texas roads and Texas drivers. Because my thought was Texas drivers drive faster than Oklahoma drivers. I've heard you guys go 90. And you do. You do. You truly do. Some. But what I've set it up exactly right. So I'm going to go ahead and get the players. One, you got your hypo here. Your Texas Ranger. Woo woo. We have them in Oklahoma too. And I'll go ahead and warn you, if you in Oklahoma, the highway patrolmen, they'll pull you over. No problem. But here's a secret for you all you guys that visit Oklahoma. None of the other cops pull anybody over. Unless you go to Enid. They'll pull you over for everything. Which, that's probably why they have better drivers. In Broken Arrow, I think I've seen them pull over 3 people in my entire lifetime. And not because they're not violating the law. No, there's plenty. They're just lazy. Texas, woo-woo, every single person. Speed check reported ahead. And I'm not talking just the highway patrol or whatever they have. No. County ones will do the same thing. On our little 2-lane the whole way down, they're busting people left and right. Oklahoma, they're just lazy. And why am I saying lazy? Because they should be pulling over people so we wouldn't have such bad drivers. So there's your major character. You got your semi-truck. You got your unloaded semi-truck. Just a single one. You got your jacked up truck because you're in Texas. And you got a bunch of other people. By the way, you see how my Lightning McQueen car, there's a reason why I have this here. There was actually a Dodge Charger. It looked exactly like that on the road. So I didn't make it up. Now, it took us longer to get home. And I know you're thinking, well, hey. There are just a lot of cars on the road. A lot of people trying to get home. It's just traffic. It's going to be worse. No, I'm going to go say this. I know there's so many more cars on the road, but really, traffic could have been so much faster if you just took away about 20 cars. That guy. 20 of these guys. So let me describe the scenario. For those that don't know how to drive, you'll kind of get this. You've got your semi-truck, doesn't really matter, but let's say you got a car here. This lane right here is for you to get off. So you could get off. Now, or when you come on, you can be in this lane. Then you could get to this one. This one really should be your travel lane, where you're typically traveling. Okay? This one is pretty much, this lane is for getting off, getting on, or unless you're a slow semi-truck, you just stay there. You should just stay there. No, I don't have anything against truck drivers, but you'll get the point here in a minute. This, your travel lane. This third lane, for all of you that don't know, is the passing lane. And in Texas, they actually, and Oklahoma does too, they have these signs on their side of the road that left lane for passing only, left lane for passing only. And then in Texas, they have something even better. They have a sign that says, no trucks in the left lane. Trucks in the left lane. 3 times between San Antonio and Austin, this scenario happened. No trucks in the left lane. Unloaded truck in the left lane. Or a semi passing another semi in the left lane. Right in front of the sign that says no trucks in the left lane. Also, why a cop was right here. Probably because they're like, I don't want to get hit. I'll get this guy right here, Lightning McQueen. I'm going to get him. So that happened a bunch. Now, before you like, well, you know, truck drivers got to get past, got to get to, totally get it. Here's the thing. I don't even so much blame truck drivers because it's like this. And I don't care what profession you're in, about 1% of whatever profession you're in sucks. We all work with someone who sucks, right? Or half. You got that 1%, right? Well, if I'm working at, like I worked at a natural gas compressor place, if 1% sucked, it only ruins everybody else that works day. 1% of truck drivers that suck, when they get here, they ruin everybody. They'll mac up things for hours, right? So, and I know you got to carry your goods. You know, I totally get it. 99% of the truck drivers stayed in these 2 lanes. It was the 1%. And I appreciate all of you because I know that sucks. I also thought you guys got a crappy job because you also have these dumb other drivers that I'm like, man, you're going to cause a wreck and get us all involved. where this guy's got to be in a hurry. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to cut right in front of this truck driver as soon as I can. He's going to slam on his brakes, especially if you're right behind me. Like, oh, God dang. Here we go. Here comes the pileup because of that guy. So I get your point. But the person I'm most mad about is these guys right here. Because this happened a lot. So let's say I'm here. There's a car in front of me, and there's this guy. I'm not going to go up on this guy like, hey, faster, faster, go faster. Because what's he going to do? Usually the car is just enough back this way that he cannot, only on the Hot Wheels can we go like this. So I know making him faster, faster isn't going to make a thing change. It's this guy. Then it never fails. I'm driving and I've got my distance. There's no sense in making me get a draft off the guy. Here's your Texas driver and his jacked up truck. You know, I said there's some that go 90. You betcha. They have, whoa, Frogger. Right on me. Not knowing. And he could clearly see because he's jacked up. There's cars in front of me. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to, I don't know, flip over the other lane, hop the other lane of cars, come back this way? So actually, no, turn it into a jet car. Fly it over, land right here so you can move up one spot to be stuck behind him. I don't know how many people did that. It was a Texas thing, definitely. Oklahomans do it too, but they must be from Texas. Because they'll be like, got 100. God, faster, 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 faster. Because I don't know if they're thinking, well, I'm going to do the same thing to this guy. No, just because you're a dick doesn't make me a dick. And it isn't going to make a difference. All it's going to do is make this guy either get mad. He might do that to this guy, but if this guy could have got over, which he could get over, clearly he's ahead of the other one. If he could, he would have. Do you think getting up on the back of him is going to make a difference? No, this guy's like, I'm happy in this lane. I know what it says up there, but I don't understand that. Don't know. Maybe don't even speak English. I don't know. So he can't read the sign. I don't know. But it doesn't make sense for you to go 90 right behind me because I can't do anything. So finally what ends up happening in some of the situations for us to get around him is this guy finally is like, man, look, I've been going this. I got my cruise control set. I'm good. Finally like, oh my God, there's like 20 cars behind this guy. And somebody's like, I'm governed. I can't go any faster. It is what it is. Finally, this guy's like, you know, I'm just going to slow down just a little. And then this guy can get around. And then we all play the game of driving past this guy, looking at this guy saying, you're a moron. Maybe we'll say it. I didn't say it. Although every time I look, because I want to see, who is that stupid? Who is that guy? And there's been several. I'm like, yep, got it. I'm expecting you better be 91 years old and that you've never seen a passing lane. You better be. But no, it's typically younger gentlemen. I say younger, so I'd say my age, maybe a little bit younger. And just out for a drive. No need to rush. Family's waiting, no big deal. So then we have to do this whole jive. And finally the truck's like, yeah, raw. And what's that guy do when we finally get back over because we're smart? He's still there. So I really, and I know I can't, I would prefer the highway was over like this. Screw all this. This one right here is the one I want. I don't care if you guys are going 150. That's the guy I want. 20 cars off the road. Get rid of that guy, traffic speeds up. Because you're really blocking everything else from moving forward. One car. So, and the sad part is you get around one, you go about 3 more miles, and there'd be another one. Because you see 7 cars right behind him. And you know he's got enough gap to get over. He's the problem. So, just my random rant about the drivers in Texas. Last thing, I want to talk about this place. So my wife's like, hey, you know, the day after Christmas, let's go to, after Thanksgiving, let's go to Fredericksburg. It's a German town. Weingartner's German. I love German food. So I was like, oh, great. Germantown, this will be fantastic. We go and eat at a German restaurant. Have my big old stein of beer. Enjoying it. No problem. I was lied to. If you go to Fredericksburg, I'm going to help all you guys out there. If you ever go to Fredericksburg, don't. Just don't. If your wife says, I want to go to Fredericksburg, it's a nice German town, it'll be so amazing. Let's go. Ask her one, are you driving? Are you going to drive home? Because the only thing for guys to do there is to drink. They got some beer gardens, that's it. And guess what? She's probably going to say, no, because there's some wine tasting stuff there, and I want to go to the wine tasting stuff, which means you can't drink. And I'm going to tell you, the entire Fredericksburg, and there's shop after shop after shop, it's all female bougie clothing. And you know how I know it's bougie? When you allow a dog to walk with you inside the store that's not a support animal, there's a clue. Or when you see more duck bills on women than you've ever seen, for those who don't know, that means they have their upper lip is so enlarged with Botox that they look like a duck. I like plump lips, but not to the point where you look like you're a duck. It doesn't do it for me. Bougie. Bougie place. 2 signs right there. Dresses that are like super expensive. I don't want to know how much they cost. Don't care. So, and that's the majority of the stores. Bougie stores. The only ones they have, and they're like, one store said, just for men. It had knives and swords. I don't know if they realize that, look, I don't mind a good knife, but I don't know what they thinking, like every man needs a sword. You know, people break into your house and you can't get to your gun. Swords. Or when they take your guns, you got a sword. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, they had that and wallets. So that the wives know where to find the money when they want to take it. Anyway, the only other places they have 2 candy stores, and I happen to stop at this one. I'm pointing this one out because this place right here has great fudge, but that's not why I'm pointing it out. My wife, she claims not to be high maintenance. And for the most part, I would say I agree. But there are times when it feels like she might be. And I know I might be too. I totally get it. She cannot go so many hours without water. So I could go, I don't know, especially since I grind in the shop, I can go a long time without water. I can go a long time without lots of stuff, without eating. She's got to eat at a certain time. She's got to drink at a certain time. She's got to have a bottle of water all the time. So she walk in these stores, and it's only 60-something degrees, so it's not like it's hot. She got to have a bottle of water. Every one of these damn stores has like a 40-minute wait on anything to get in and get out. This place, I'm like, if I'm going to wait, I'm going to at least get something to eat. And then I spot it, bottles of water. Because she's like, as I'm in line getting the fudge. So if I get out of line, I'm going to lose my spot. It's going to take another 20 minutes, get back. Hey, can you get me a bottle of water while you're in there? I'm in line for 20 minutes. And you're not doing anything. Why don't you go get your... But I'm calm. Sure. I find their bottle of water at this place. I'm only pointing this out. Lone Star Candy Bar. Thank you. From one man to another man, or maybe woman, I don't care. Thank you. Their bottles of water was at the bottom, and this guy's like, go ahead and get it. He must have had a wife the same way. Go ahead and get the water. I'll let you back in your spot. I was like, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Their bottles of water was $1. And I thought, man, it's got to be a print. There's missing a 0. Because there's no place here that has bottles of water for $1. I can't even go to the restaurant and get water for $1. Yep. They charge $1 for a bottle of water. Go to Fredericksburg. Visit this place. Tell them thank you. Thank you, sir, for hydrating women all over with your $1 bottle of water. Thank you. Anyway, that does it for me. Guys, remember, I don't port cast iron heads. I don't know anybody that ports cast iron heads. I got asked 3 times on phone calls this week. The same question. And also, I'm no Superman. You guys take care. Real tech video tomorrow. Real tech video.